hit him.
Touchdown, Debo in the slot. This is my end zone. Give me everything you got. Defense, hit him with that Cosa Nostra. Quan Alexander, this dance, Nick both sides. 49er Empire, 49er Empire. This is for the fan base, diehard set by. Stand up, 4-9 to the heart, J.E. Paul Lord back in Candlestick Park.
What Kinlaw is going to bring is what we haven't seen since, and I've said it since Stubblefield and Bryant Young. We have not seen that type of strength, and I'm not even saying that that type of intelligence yet, because he has it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but we haven't seen that type of strength, and with the coach like Cassera, you know,
to bring the extra beast out of him. Yep.
Yes.
Are you listening?
I know.
Damn.
Ronbo Sports here, representing the Niner Empire organization worldwide. To the land down under, Australia, next door where they make the best kiwis in the world, New Zealand, UK, fish and chips, France, Germany, South America, Mexico, and all across the USA, starting from those shores of Hawaii, brother, and loose all the way to New York City. I'm talking Philly, New Jersey, bang, bang, Mel. I see you in James. And we go down to Omar Dade City, Florida. I'm especially pumped up right now. You know why? I'm looking. The NFL is taking measures right now. And you and I both thought, maybe you did, I don't know about you, but I was thinking, we're gonna get virtual everything. Now the 49ers gonna be playing in a quiet stadium. No, maybe not. In fact, it looks strongly like the 49ers, and we'll have fans in the stands because the league's gonna be taking measures across the league, of course, to make it possible for 49er fans and everybody else to be able to attend games. I read here it says under a plan shared with team presidents on Tuesday, the first 6 to 8 rows of seating in every stadium, including on-field suites, will be off limits to fans this season. That's the first what rows? 6 to 8 rows? I can live with that. And he goes on to say that move is officially to protect players, coaches, and team staff from coronavirus exposure, but it will also free up that space to become lucrative sponsorship assets. I got no problem with that. Because if they do that, they really want people to come in there and see it, right? There you go. Yes! And then sources said those seats will be covered by tarps. I said, what? Whoa! It looks like there's gonna be butts in the seats this year. Whew. Jesus! Wouldn't it be such a reprieve to leave all the madness that's going on right now and get back to some football? Oh, man. Hey, how about the annual state of the franchise this year? Not like usual. Peter Schrager did make an appearance, though. As Peter, he feels affiliated with 49ers in that way that he came in and he did a virtual conversation. You know what? I really got a kick out of some of the people. The NFL's, a lot of talking heads around the NFL think the 49ers are going to fail in their effort to come back and make a bid for the Super Bowl this year. I got a kick out of John Lynch, did an interview, of course. And Don's quote was, it is incumbent upon us to get better. Hey, of course, what people think the 49ers just sit around in their butts on the laurels and say, we know what we're doing. We can go back to the Super Bowl right now. Mike Florio took exception to it. Mike Florio now says he's, how does he put it? To me, it seems like Mike Florio's lost a little respect for Jimmy. Jimmy, yeah, he's always lost respect for Jimmy. But now take that another level to Kyle Shanahan. Why? Because Kyle Shanahan has got the guys thinking that they belong back to the Super Bowl to redeem themselves from what happened. Nick Bosa's saying that right now. He's saying it all the time. Redemption time. And Florio takes exception to that, saying he should not lead those guys in a direction like that. He should let them know they've got to take care of what's going on in front of them. He mentioned sorry teams like the Rams and, I guess I could stop it there. The Hawks are not sorry, but they're not a threat. And the Cardinals, who worry me more than actually the Rams and the Hawks. I mean, our division is tough enough, but it's not unbeatable, not by the 49ers. They're going to run away with that division. In fact, they better be glad that we didn't get it. Wait a minute, it's to our advantage now that I think about it. The 49ers, usually after a Super Bowl win, you have less time than everybody else to recover. With this extended layoff, the 49ers are getting all the rest they need and training hard to get strong, getting lots of rest and doing all the things you need to do to be prepared just like everybody else, even if you had a long run in the playoffs like they did. I'm delighted with that myself. But Kyle Shanahan constantly stresses, if you're not getting better, then what are you doing? That's all the 49ers do. You've got to get better. And the word continuity, as I say, comes from Saleh himself. And you know what I love about the word continuity? Fam, here's what I always complained about when every year, let's go all the way back to 2015. Jimmy Thompson was running the club, right? We just lost Harbaugh. We just lost Fangio. Now, we have these other people. I'm not going to go down through the list of names because we had too many. And I was always complaining about that. I did like Mangini, but you know, we got rid of so many coaches. We got a disaster in there at one point. Continuity is about getting a team that knows exactly the playbook, right, front, left, center, backwards, forward. Any language you speak to them, as long as in regards to that playbook, they know what you're talking about. They're well-versed in it. They can get out there. They can play fast. There's probably moments they can ad lib, but everything stems from what they've learned out of this particular system. This is how a team wins. I was always crying, fire this coach and fire that coach and fire, what? So we can start all over again? I get sick of starting over again. We're going to fail. It takes a year to learn any system. So, Trez, and I'll be glad when you get back on the phone and let's argue, because you know I love to argue with you, man. I'm telling you right now, Robert Saleh is the right man, and I told you that. I love embarrassing him in front of people. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about with Saleh. He says if you're not getting better, just like Shanahan, if you're not getting better, you're probably getting worse. So the guys know what they got ahead of them. And also Kyle alluded to the fact that they know they've got a task in front of them, a target that's on their back, unlike it has been throughout the time they've been with Kyle Shanahan. People are going to come after them with a vengeance. They are the top dog to go after. Everybody wants to bring down the alpha. And the 49ers are the alpha of the NFC. That's all there is to it. Until somebody takes it away from them. And that's going to be the plan all season long, and you know this. We know this. So the 49ers are not going to come in there blind, thinking they can just go back to the Super Bowl immediately. Yeah, they know they belong in the Super Bowl because they've been there and done that. They know what it takes to get there to do that. So yeah, they got to be right to believe they're going to the Super Bowl. Anybody got a problem with that? Got to watch my language. I will not get bad. I got my kids watching. Hey, kids. I've always got respect for children. But, there's so much to contemplate, though, between now and the start of the season. Because the fact of the matter is we don't have anything to go on. There's no training camp. And I used to sit and wait. You probably did too, right? I used to sit and wait. I want reports from the reporters, those days when they're allowed to come in and give us an evaluation of what's going on, who did well, who's not doing well. This is why you have to appreciate Grant Cohn. You see, Grant's always going to be on the dark side. Maybe we should change Grant's name to Darth Vader. Grant's always going to come in and give you a perspective, a negative perspective on certain players because he expects more from them, and that's what his mindset is. So I don't get mad at him about that anymore. And I take what Grant says, and I bump it up against what other reporters are saying, and somewhere in the middle, you're probably getting exactly an accurate picture of what's going on out in that field. And we're not getting that this year, and it kind of worries me. But you already kind of know what to expect from most players because they work hard and they have been. We know them from being in this system. This is what I go again, back to that term continuity. These guys know what they're doing. So, don't expect too much weakness from them. And also when you got a mad on because you lost the Super Bowl, you did not lose, but you gave away, they're ready to roll. Of course, like Kyle mentioned, though, the rookies are going to have an uphill battle because the fact of the matter is they needed OTAs and some of those other things to prepare them for the NFL and some of the things they've got to learn between now and the time you got to cut people from the team. Now, it's a disadvantage as it is, as Kyle pointed out. It's tough enough making a 53-man roster as a newbie as it is, let alone with limited amount of time. So we got to wish them good luck. The UDFAs, there's probably some talent there, but I don't know what kind of chance they've got. You already know that Kinlaw's going to make it. You already know that Ayuk's going to make it, of course. Cole McKivitz, those guys are going to make it. Anyway, you don't see any draft picks. There's no draft picks that are going to get cut, most likely. Jawan Jennings is probably. Jennings may be the closest guy possible, but how do you cut Jawan Jennings? I think they all make it. So the UDFAs are the guys that are probably going to be the ones that are going to be left out because you give everybody else the benefit of a doubt, and they'll probably be put on that roster, no doubt about it. So we'll see what happens. Maybe somebody stands out. I don't know how much time they're going to have. As you know, they're probably going to cut off those 2 games they talked about earlier. So the 49ers are not going to be able to play a full slate of preseason games to get a good idea of what's going to happen with those players. So it's kind of a sad thing this year for that. Like Kyle says, I wish we had a farm system we could put them in just for a while so we get a better look later. We can only keep so many guys. They did expand at least to 2 extra guys on the practice squad, but that's still not good enough. Because I think we've got a lot of talent this year. Ooh, those UDFAs do look good. I just don't know what they could look like in a real deal situation. So we'll see. Bryant Young, right? Hey, Bryant Young into the 49ers Hall of Fame, and deservedly so. And when you look at what Bryant Young did throughout his career, Jed still loves him. Bryant Young, 89.5 sacks. And Brian says that record stands there as a benchmark for players to come on in and get it. He mentions Nick Bosa as being a guy that probably is a candidate that could get it done. You look at Charles Haley, the second guy with 66. Ahmad Brooks is in there somewhere, but you know what's really wild? 44 sacks in 4 years, Aldon Smith. Fam, what if Aldon Smith had his head on right? He did that in 4 years. He was still in the prime. And he had at least 2 more years of prime. Whoa. Aldon Smith could have ended up being one of the greatest, not only the 49ers franchise, Aldon could have been the greatest of all time, depending on who he was playing next to. What if he'd have been there for DeForest Buckner? Ho, ho, ho! You see, that's the sad thing about all of this. Aldon Smith is the biggest disaster. He could go down as one of the biggest disasters in 49ers history. Not because of what he did, but what he could have done. Anyway, but Nick, Brian says, if there's anybody out of the group that's left, it could be Nick Bosa. Nick didn't last year. He had a good year, but Nick's got that trajectory. You know he's going to get better and better. And Brian said, hey, from 197 to another, he could be the guy. Brian Young has also said he'd come over and mentor our guys. All Kyle Shanahan has to do is ask. You know, with the Falcons is where he's been for the last 3 years as a coach. He must have came on as soon as Kyle left. Or did, yeah, Kyle's been with us for 3 years. He's been out of Atlanta for 3 years. You know what, though? I love Brian Young, but I'm not giving up Chris Kosoric for nobody. Chris Kosoric, woo! That man he can build a defensive front. So I'm going to keep Chris Kosoric. Brian can come over and join in and be that mentor. But I got Chris Kosoric stays right where he is. So, fam, you know what I do? I got some other things I want to talk about, but I'll talk about them directly with you. Let's go to the cam right now. And you know I got today. It's Indian Bar. Let's go. Larry fam, our only retreat from the miseries going on in the USA and around the world right now is to talk 49ers football. And RB, you've heard him on our daily programs when we come live. You've heard him with nothing but the best of points on everything concerning the 49ers. I got him. RB, what's up?
Ronbo, how we sounding tonight?
Awesome, man. I'll tell you, I feel like we're doing, you know, it sounds like it also feels like we're doing a radio show. When we're playing music. I'm looking for you to introduce the next artist that's like just jamming the chart right now. RB, take it away. And then, you know, RB gets right
man,
into it.
I love the show.
Thanks,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm a big fan, and you know, I appreciate you bringing me on. You know what I'm saying? And like you see a little bit of what I do on my own time as well. So check out IB's setup, man. I'm telling you this. I mean, that's how we're talking, like not amateur equipment in that room. You know what I'm saying? I got too many kids for that. So yeah, man. You know.
Well, I mean, let's get on into it. You know, because I'm looking at the 49ers right now. And for the last couple of years, actually since Mullins broke out, I look at Mullins too as a guy that was somebody people didn't really know much about until that fabulous season he had after Jimmy G went down. There's probably going to be some other sleepers, you know, because these nasty accidents do happen. There's probably going to be some other sleepers that show up sooner or later. You got Mostert. I mean, Emmanuel Mosley, he made one mistake, but that boy is good. He is really
That's
good.
My guy. I love him.
And you look, Dre Greenlaw. We knew Greenlaw was going to be good, but he was going to be a special teams guy. He was going to be that energy guy that we're going to put on and make our special teams better than it is. And Greenlaw comes in, and now people are saying things like, you know, we could save some money by getting rid of Quan. My God.
Right.
Dang. Who you see? Is there another sleeper that you see coming in soon? Because this is a fun thing to predict. Because if you're right on this, it's just one of those things. It's amazing how you can find talents and see them when they're coming about.
You see me, I'm looking at my list here. Yeah, I got a list, but I'm as we've been going through the whole off season, man, I'm gonna start off I think with the first person, as we all know, Mostert. That's who I believe we're all expecting to have a crazy season this year, and me as well. I expect Mostert to have a great season. He played all 16 games last year, 137 carries, 772 yards, 8 touchdowns, only 9 career touchdowns. So for me to say that Mostert is going to be the person that's going to have the breakout season next year, I can't do that, because I believe that he's got a lot more eyes on him right now. And I believe that the zone scheme that he runs is based on consistency. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that he's gonna have a breakout year again, but I don't see it being more than my man Fred Warner here. I think Fred Warner is gonna have the season that everybody's expecting Dre Greenlaw to have. See, Dre Greenlaw is gonna have to step up to a lot of responsibilities, have he take the spot of Quan. And don't get me wrong, Dre's a phenomenal athlete, and I think he's almost ready for it. He's been working that way since college. But I mean, what Quan does is all pro. What Quan does is pro bowl. You know what I'm saying? And that you don't just pick that up in 1-2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? So the expectations for that is a little bit beyond. But what we have in Fred Warner, I believe, is very gifted. He's something right now, man. This young kid, man, he fits the size, the scheme perfectly. I mean, his numbers is off the charts, and he's been doing it in college at a different level. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
He was an outside linebacker, more hybrid safety in college. Now he's our middle linebacker, and you know what I'm saying. So for us to expect Dre Greenlaw to be this person, I see it as well, but I don't think he's gonna have a better year than Fred personally.
Could be the case, and the thing is, I was more intrigued by the fact that he emerged as a big surprise. I tell you something though. Now here's the thing that we can all hope and pray for. What if Javon Kinlaw comes in and blows up way beyond expectation? This is the guy what I would call a sleeper, because
like Bosa?
Yeah, because Bosa's not a sleeper. Bosa came in, guns blazing from day one. But the thing is, Javon Kinlaw's coming in behind a Pro Bowler. I mean, an Iron Man, because D-Buck was the man was a rock. Nobody could. He didn't miss but one game his entire time with the 49ers, and he signed his rookie contract and left us. So,
They play the same position, but they're two totally different athletes.
True.
I mean, what Kinlaw is going to bring is what we haven't seen since, and I've said it, since Stubblefield and Bryant Young. We have not seen that type of strength, and I'm not even saying that that type of intelligence yet, because he has it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but we haven't seen that type of strength, and with the coach like Kasarik,
to bring the extra beast out of him. Yep.
Yes, and these guys to mold him around, man, it's going to be very special. And DJ Jones too, who was very humble still, you know what I'm saying? He's willing to learn as well. So, and Solly, because you can't keep pushing in the middle and think that Solly. I mean, I believe Solly is going to have, but behind Fred, I believe it is going to be Solly.
There it is,
and it ain't. I don't think it's contractual. I think it's just the nature of the beast. I think if you heard Shannon Sharp saying earlier, I don't know if it was today or yesterday on this podcast, you can't keep slapping a man in his face and just expect him to turn the cheek. It's not going to happen, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Now there it is. Now IB's giving it legitimate reason as to why Solomon Thomas is going to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And here's the thing. If you're going to apply that type of thinking to Solly T, you almost got to say the same thing. We should expect the next big thing next year to also look like Mrs. Pettis' baby boy. Is it his time?
I know. I believe so. I believe so. You know, Sherman had an off season last year.
Kind
You
of.
know, Sherman was on point with everything. I mean, he physically, I believe he was ready. I believe Sherman was there. But you see, mentally, we're all athletes are just normal people. You know what I'm saying? And even though his body felt ready, he couldn't snap like the old Sherm used to. So it's gonna take Sherman another season. So why people thinking, oh, he's falling off? We don't know what that man's capable of doing. Sherman didn't look like nobody that fell off last year. To me, Sherman looked like somebody who didn't recover. Sherman damn sure didn't look like somebody who just came off a Achilles and a meniscus neither, or an MCL. You know.
That's right.
Sherman looked
more
healthy.
like Sherm last year is what he did.
Right.
I mean, before you get into that part of the defense, so I'm wondering about Jimmy G, because here's the thing about Jimmy G. He's 28 years old right now, and some of the analysts and experts, as they call themselves experts, now they're looking at Jimmy G and says, what you see from Jimmy G, 49er fans are about to get their feelings hurt if they think that Jimmy G is going to excel beyond where he is now. He is who he is. He's pretty much peaked out. And the only thing you're probably going to see is maybe a little reduction in the INTs, and maybe he'll get a little more comfortable in the offense. But the Jimmy G you're seeing now is the one you better get happy with. I read that, and I said, this is just hating. This is an assumption that I cannot agree. What do you think, IB, on that?
I don't understand these people's perception, man. It's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's not realistic. The man came from an ACL. You know what I'm saying? And for your quarterback, realistically, his first year starting on top of that in a whole new system. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, a complicated system.
And yes, he's learned Kyle Shanahan's system. But who's not to say Shanahan didn't turn it up last year, because he damn sure did. Yeah. We went to the Super Bowl last year. Yeah. He switched up everything. He had a lot more motion going on. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, Jimmy's package was totally different than Nick Mullins' package. Even though Colin's perception of both quarterbacks have to run the same offense, you tell me when Nick Mullins has run that offense before.
See,
he hasn't. He hasn't run that type of motion. So you know what I'm saying? We get too much carried away, I think, with our own perception of what it should be. So what? We not winning no championships, but Kyle's system is. We just won the NFC championship. You know what I'm saying? So now it's time to build on that. You know what I'm saying? And I think Jimmy, to say that, and again, in his first season, did Brady do that in his first season back from ACL?
And neither did Rodgers. And if you compare him, and you can continue with those names of the who's as far as quarterbacks go, and none of them did great in their first year. But Jimmy's supposed to, or he's a bust.
And the complaint about Jimmy is the interceptions. Okay, he was 27-13. That's 2-1.
Yeah.
You don't want that for a quarterback coming back from an ACL? He could have been 50. He could have been 500.
From that, the argument, I could see where it would come from there. The argument from there would, Jimmy G may have not hurt the 49ers, but did he help the 49ers? This is the argument that I keep getting hit with all the time, and I don't know exactly what to say on that. I mean, because the thing is, I get offensive, I get personal, because I take it personally when people say that about him. We did have one of the best we had one of the best run games in the game last year.
Right.
Could we have won without that run game and we put our offense strictly on Jimmy G's shoulders? But then should any team have to? Fair. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Should any team, that's good. I'm glad you said that, because should any team have to rely upon just one part of their offense?
But you rely on a veteran quarterback. You rely on somebody who knows the system. Jimmy, to say that because he sat on the sideline for a year studying it and preparing himself, that doesn't mean that he properly learned the system. I mean, what kind of critics are we? They're judging the man. They're not judging the man based on his athletic ability, because what he's capable of being as far as our starting quarterback, they need to cut it out, man, because he came back and he took us to the Super Bowl after a serious, could have been career-ending injury. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and I mean, the interceptions, is a problem for a quarterback who's not coming back from the same situation that he is. I mean, I believe if you have a mobile quarterback who's throwing 15, 13, 14, 20 interceptions or whatever, then you have more of a problem. But this man has to get his legs back under him. You know what I'm saying? I had my ACL replaced, so I know
how that
physically
feels.
What it's like to I mean, it takes time for your body to learn itself. These are not normal pieces to your body that are being, you know what I'm saying, replaced. So, you know, people are not judging him fairly. I mean, they're complaining, if you ask me.
No, it is. And like you mentioned, Jimmy G has the right to go through a first year of training. And those mistakes you made, some of them stem from the fact that not everybody on the offense is well adapted to that offense just yet. How about wait a minute? And this is the only thing I ask, you know. Now, next year, a lot of us who defend Jimmy on these, including Kyle Shanahan, who's been Jimmy G's biggest defender the all offseason, we are standing by waiting for Jimmy G to show everybody, look, see what we were trying to tell you. Because I love them. I told you moments. Well, I'm going to have them too. I know it.
But Ronbo, it's not even about proving anything. What you just said is the truth. What you just said is the truth. Everybody in the offense did not know the system last year. You know what I'm saying? Look at what happened in the Super Bowl. Our number one offensive tackle, Joe Staley, was in and out of the lineup. After being injured multiple times throughout the season. So for us to sit up there and just make these unfair comparisons, and man, it's not realistic because Joe was not Joe, and we've seen how Mike responds when he has to carry our offense. Sometimes Mike is not ready. You know what I'm saying? So you know, our offensive line took a struggle last year, and we have to I think we have to give a little bit more props as far as what we were able to accomplish as a team. That's, you know, like,
and that's it right there. As a team, can we be judged? Stop singling guys out and laying all the blame on one guy. It's not about one guy. You know?
Yeah, man. Of all people, you're gonna blame it on Jimmy, and then they're gonna blame it on Emmanuel because he made one mistake.
The All-Pro Sherman made one mistake. See, this is the team thing. It's a lot of efforts, a lot of guys have those mistakes. Jimmy makes one at the end, so it's all his fault by some people's standards. And those people didn't like Jimmy G in the first place. You know what? Before I get too long on Jimmy G, because I get some. Let me.
That's my guy, man.
I'm talking about the blame game, though. 19.4 points a game last season was what that defense did last season. It's one of the, and you know, I think the only reason that got to 19.4 points is I think it was 17 points. The 49ers had a thing at the beginning of the season, 17 points. If not for the Saints game, I think they could have had it down to about 16, 15 points because they did a marvelous job. The Steelers game got a little out of control, but beyond that, I think the 49ers did a pretty good job. But now
it was the injuries.
Yeah, with the rotation and everything, but and D Ford. But now the haters out there already. They already said, "Man, that may have been one of the biggest flukes in the world." 49ers will never repeat that feat again. And Sherman's getting a little older. You just talked about Sherman, but the other parts of the secondary are supposedly going to be the weak link, and they were picked to be the last. They were picked IB last year, before the season even started. Well, that defensive front line, we expect to be a pretty good front line, but that secondary could be what holds the 49ers back. I'm saying, why y'all go? Look at here, man. And unfortunately, Richard Sherman was supposed to be an opposite, not a Keller Witherspoon, not Emmanuel Mosley, but we were supposed to have Jason Verrett. Verrett was supposed to be, we were supposed to have dueling Pro Bowlers. But, you know, as you know, Verrett didn't make it.
Well, we signed him. We
did, but I mean,
which is intriguing. It's intriguing.
It is,
because
but
you never know.
The thing is, though, do you see that defense falling down like some of these analysts and these prognosticators are hoping happens?
Nah, man. What was the numbers you said? 19.2 or 19.4?
19.4 points. That was the 49ers. That's all they yielded all season. That was the average.
And that was after the injuries.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
This was a defensive unit that really just played together for the first time. And these people are saying it's a fluke. That's crazy. Because we got better this year. Yes. So what the hell they gonna say now? What they gonna say now?
We gotta give it up now.
Because our corner, our secondary is familiar with each other. And our secondary coach is familiar with our defensive line coach. Yep. So now our linebacker coach is not, the communication is talking a lot more clearer. What they gonna say when the defensive line is more fluent and more violent than last year? What they gonna say then? They gonna say it's a fluke? Or they want to, then they gonna be looking for the tendonitis in them boys' knees, and that's not a fluke though. The injuries, when they find an injury, that's not a fluke. So that's why I say them comparisons is unfair, man. They don't know what they talking about. But it always comes around when 49ers do good, man. You know? And it usually comes from Cowboy fans. You know what I'm saying? It normally comes from Cowboy.
They think we're riding the same ship because we both got 5 trophies. But you know what? I like the fact that the defense is young, and like you just said, the key on that was young defense is playing together for the first time. Now, what happens the second year when they play together? They play faster, they play more efficiently, they know each other a little better. You got Koski and Jimmy G, and I think that was you mentioned yesterday. Why would you split that tandem up just to bring in somebody you figure is better?
Because they're money hungry. And they're not used to success. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? These are not realistic fans. These are not people who actually saw Wilbur Marshall break them bones in Joe's back and have tears after that game. You know what I'm saying? Nobody know about. Don't know. And I'm not saying that. I'm not questioning nobody's knowledge, but you're not appreciative of what your players are doing right now. Because if you did, you realize the world that we live in has changed. You know what I'm saying? We have young players, are all about the same age. And a lot of them played college ball either against each other or with each other or high school, and some of them are making a cut, some of them aren't. You know what I'm saying?
True.
But bottom line is we have been more successful even when we was losing. When we was 6-10, we was winning. The heart of every true Niner fan was we was gonna win every single one of those games.
And we came close.
Right. Now we start winning every damn thing, and these fools want to buy everything. They like when COVID struck. Now they want to buy all the toilet paper and the paper towel, and they want to buy up all the damn gas, man. You know, come on, man. You gonna turn a legacy into a bunch of village boys like the damn Rams, man. That's what's gonna happen.
See, I'm glad you mentioned. See, well, that's what I'm talking about. You say people don't have the proper appreciation for a cohesive unit. Units is playing together, and the longer they play together, the better they're going to get. What do you think the damages around the clubhouse would be? And people don't think this is necessary to think about because, in fact, it's a business. We just get rid of Koski. We're gonna have to get rid of a draft pick. They don't know him yet, so we can't develop any relationship or feeling toward that person. But you get rid of Koski, you bring in a guy like Adams, and I just want to know what does that do? What does that do to the room? Now the clubhouse is thinking, well, I guess we're already aware of the fact that we're all expendable, but we didn't know during a Super Bowl run while our window is open, we'd be unnecessarily dropping pieces. It's always about the greener grass. Because I attach that also to AB. I'm not getting rid of any guys for AB. You know, this is what I'm talking about. That just bothers me so badly.
I'm looking at Jamal Adams' 2019 stats, man. He had 1 interception.
That ain't blowing nobody away.
Interception. Now, what he had more than Tart was tackles. Okay. Yeah. And he had 6.5 sacks, which is unbelievable, right?
But it's also how he was deployed, though.
Exactly. What we gonna do with Drake Greenlaw then? Right? Yeah. What we gonna do with Aziz Shayir? Yeah. What about Demetrius Flanagan Moore? You know what I'm saying? What about these guys that we still have tucked away? You know, our defense. I mean, I feel like these people do not know football. That's why I love your show, Ronbo. That's why when I sat back and I saw your show early after the Super Bowl, I said, yo, man, I got the call. I got the call, man.
Glad you did.
You know, because it was like, when I called, it was around the time that people were complaining about Solly T. If you think the fire is not behind Solly T this year, Solly T better step up to the plate. I'm saying it as well. He better. Dante Pettis better step up to the plate.
They do. But time's up.
I feel some of us are just unrealistic. Some of these people wanted Tom Brady. What did my daughter's looking at me like I'm crazy? You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. What did Jimmy G do wrong last year to get an old ass Tom Brady?
Who has to learn Kyle's offense? People think Brady's a magician. Tom's gonna come in, put on that red gold. He's gonna run Kyle Shanahan's offense like a veteran. I say, boy.
No respect for Bill Belichick, bro. No respect for Bill Belichick. Now, you see, Brady is a sportsman. He said, look, man, we've done this long enough. I got my own kids. My kids want to see me do it. So you damn right he wanted to come here because it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah. And what a storybook ending. The kid who grew up supporting Montana, and now he's in Montana's job. That's what he wanted.
Bill Belichick made Tom Brady. Now, see, if we do not give Kyle Shanahan and Adam Peters and John Lynch and these guys, Martin Mayhew and our running back coach and Robert Saleh and Kusarik and all of these men, they proper respect. When they gone, I don't want to hear about them. I don't want to hear about the shit later. Mm-hmm. And now that and don't get me wrong. Yes, we lost Woods and things like that, but I believe that was strategic. I believe we need to slow down so much about talking about Robert Saleh's leaving. I think we need to get off all of these trains and just get to the core, because how can we consistently win something if everything just keeps leaving? Yeah. No, eventually the organization has to make the same sacrifices that our team, that our players have made. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to fall back and trust the process, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
That's the bottom line. That's an antidote to every bad argument. Trust the process. Stop getting him. Don't be impatient, and stop placing blame where it's. Think about it before you put it on there. Sometimes
we complained about Jeff Garcia. We complained about Jeff Garcia, but that man broke his neck out there, man. Yeah. The man gave it up out there, man. It wasn't like he was just a bum. You know what I'm saying?
He's the last Pro Bowl quarterback we had.
Man, listen, if we are not winning a Super Bowl, these guys are gonna complain.
I know.
We just have to accept it. They're gonna complain.
But I mean, you have to underline that, because the fact of the matter is, that's what, like Jed York says, we don't win championships. We win Super Bowls. Right. That's one thing. Jed may have said a lot of silly things, but that I appreciate. I mean, we got to roll IB. Good stuff, IB. Time to count it down. IB's out on the East Coast anyway. We're going to let him go and get some rest. IB, I'm going to give you the 3, 2, 1. Give me that 49er enthusiastic holla. 3, 2, 1.
Niners.
I hear an echo.
Yeah, that's my daughter helping me out.
She's a 49er fan, ain't she? I'm delighted. See, Indian boy, thanks, fam. I call it, when you hear me say IB, when he's calling in on the live shows, that's what I'm talking about. Indian boy is IB. Boy's always got solid perspective. I love it. Fam. Oh, by the way, let me give a shout out to the IB kids, too. Hey, I told IB, man, you got to bring the kids on into the show next time, man, because they're really hardcore 49er fans. I love it. His son was upset that we didn't give him a shout out. I'm giving him a shout out right now. Stop. And the little girl, too, that was right there by Dad's side. Fam, I'm going to see you in just a minute as we continue talking 49ers football. As I said, it looks like they're getting ready to make it possible for fans to come to the games. I don't know about going to the bathroom and all that stuff, Maybe they can set up the bathroom stalls for social distancing too. Or else you got to raise your hand if you want to go to the bathroom in the stands. Oh. Too bad you gotta wait. We got too many people up there now. I would suggest lighten up on the booze if you're gonna go out there is what you do. And that way you have to make so many trips to the bathroom. I think they got this all worked out. There's just football without fans just makes no sense. You gotta have the tailgate parties. Phil's gonna be out there with his tailgate party, some of the best food on the planet. You gotta have all of that. Bam! I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna just leave with this. I'll see you in just a little while and you know this. Please don't forget to share. Hit that like, they mean a lot to me. Whoa. Hey, Maestro, where you at, man? Count me down.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never make me sacred.